we're off.
Hey team, welcome along to episode number 15 of the D.M.C podcast with your host, me, Adam Rigby, and the devilishly handsome Mr. Cody Hunter, and our very special, very important guest today, a true fitness professional, trainer to the stars. And if you're one of his clients, you know exactly what I mean, because it's how he makes you feel. He's the singer of songs, the writer of wrongs, a wisdom poet, entrepreneur, content creator on a mission to make the world a happier and healthier place. And he's just a real cool dude. Mr. Marwin Silerio, bro, welcome to you.
Awesome. How fucking cool. Thank you so much for that introduction, bro.
No worries, mate.
I feel good now.
Oh, look at you. It's a Friday vibes, mate. Friday vibes. You know, I could have just done pages and pages. So good to have you here, mate. And I think the thing for me is this sort of typifies what we're about, and how this conversation came about was by me having a chat to a friend of mine, Mandy from our gym in Wellington. Lovely girl, and we were talking just about our content, what we're doing, about the deep and meaningful chats, having a deep and meaningful chat, and talking about the things and the people in our lives that inspire us, pages that we like to look at. And your name came up and she said, hey, you got to check this dude out. And I said, sweet, I'm in. And had a look at your page and like, shit, this is my guy. He speaks the same language. So yeah, there was the follow and then a quick message back and forth, fired it to Cody. And then here we are. And that's I think how the universe works, eh, mate? It brings us together in the strangest ways. But what matters most to us is that we have this opportunity to connect. So super grateful just to be able to sit down and spend time with you, mate. I love what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm just like you. I've just had a cup of coffee as well. So I'm literally buzzing and also buzzing for the opportunity. So super grateful that you guys are allowing me the space and the opportunity to speak my story and just have these type of DMC authentic chats. These are the type of conversations that really fill my cup, and I've found extremely valuable in my own personal growth and self-development to hear how others live there, for me to talk my thoughts out loud and giving me the opportunity to process them. So I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you.
That's awesome, bro. Hey, now before we proceed any further, I need to ask you one very important question, mate.
What's up?
And this is real. This is truth. Vegemite or Marmite?
Oh man, look, bro, I haven't had either.
Okay, good answer.
That's a fair deal, mate. That's a fair answer.
Yeah. Good answer. Okay, we can proceed past that point because there was touch and go there for a minute, man. It was going to go either way.
I'm sweating. I'm like,
the questions get harder, mate. Mate, you're out.
That's as deep as we go.
Yeah. Hey, Marwin, just want to say thanks for coming on, bro, and appreciate it. Obviously I only got sent through some info from Adam, maybe 2 days ago, which again, thank you for jumping on board such short notice, which is sick because, you know, when it's time to roll, you got to roll, and I love that. So yeah, I've spent a couple of days digging into your stuff. During my work today, I had the podcast on, your podcast on, the High Frequency Club. I was having a good listen to that today as well. So, mate, just great vibes, great chats, good guests on there. So yeah, I'm really excited, mate. I love what you do. I'm really excited to hear a bit more about that as we move forward in this conversation. So yeah, mate, just wanted to put in my 2 cents to say how much we appreciate your time today, and we're keen to dig into it, eh?
For sure.
I appreciate that.
Mate, so a little bit of speed dating. So if we were sitting eye to eye, mate, it's obviously pretty romantic. There's candlelight, it's a dark room. A couple of glasses of wine, you know, we've each had a sip, we're relaxed, we're warm, What's the quick chat? It's not even a sell, bro, but what's a little bit about you, stuff that we need to know before we roll into the deep and meaning chat? Just a brief outline of who you are, where you're from.
Awesome. Well, my name is Marwin Silerio. I was born in the Philippines. When I was 3 years old, my father realized that he couldn't feed me or my sister, so he left and went to Papua New Guinea, ultimately landed in New Zealand. And when he saved up enough money to buy airfare tickets for myself, my sister, and my mother, we moved over when I was 5 years old. From 5 until 20, I spent my entire childhood, intermediate years, and high school years in Taupo, New Zealand. And the reason why I say that part is because it really gives an insight into my why and why I do things. I'm intrinsically motivated by the understanding of what my parents have sacrificed for me to be here in this beautiful country we call New Zealand. I understand the privilege that I have, that I could be somewhere in the Philippines doing something completely different. But the matter of fact is I'm not. My parents have given me this opportunity through these sacrifices, and my why is to make the absolute most out of it. And the best way for me to do that is to double down on the things that I enjoy, which is communicating with people, and really going real deep into my curiosity of human behavior. And how that's manifested into my life has been through acting. So I moved to Auckland when I was 20 and I did a bachelor's in performing arts. That really helped that itch of understanding character and understanding myself. Another way is personal training and coaching, and produce a whole lot of content. So here I am now at 28, speaking with you guys. Yeah.
Mate,
I 28.
I love that, bro. So when did you find out that you were like really curious about that sort of direction that you went on? Like at what age did you start, really getting into that in terms of helping people, or the acting side of things, or just finding your space?
I can't pinpoint it to one specific environment, but I know that even when I was real young, I guess it was always in that thing of like, it was, I guess, of course it was partly ego, partly me trying to find my belonging. I was always trying to like maneuver my way through the social life. I was trying to be popular. I was trying to figure out what made people tick, what people liked to hear, what people didn't like to hear, what would put me in a better position to go to the better parties and shit like that. So it was through trying to see through the subtext of what people said, so I could be in a better position socially. So yeah, I think that there wasn't no specific event. It was something that just continued to snowball. How I got into wanting to help people, however, that was really more intentional when I was in my third and final year of drama school, when I lost 20 kgs. I was like 90. I was big. I was real unhealthy. The student life of like KFC, KGBs, and Domino's really got to me. So I started to get stretch marks that I didn't know you could even get stretch marks in. I panicked and I was like, it's time to hold on this. I need to take care of my health. So I lost the 20 kgs, and my classmates in drama school asked, hey, how did you do it? So then I started showing them, and then they started to also experience the happiness and the energy lift and the sustainability of a good mood. And I got a real kick out of that, actually, using the skills that I learned at high school through, I guess, manipulation of the social circles, and actually using that skill to help other people better their own lifestyles. And of course, as you guys probably know, acting in New Zealand isn't going to pay full time. So as soon as I finished drama school, people were like, I was really enjoying showing other people, how to better their health and fitness. And someone was like, hey, you can do this for a job. They're called personal trainers. And I was like, sweet. As soon as I finished drama school, I went back into study, did my personal training certificate, and the rest is history. I've been personal training now for 5 years.
Come back to us, brother.
Come back. Oh,
there you go.
I'm here.
I'm here. I was gonna say, Marwin, that's really funny because when I was at a bit of a benchmark, so I wanted to be an actor in high school as well. I used to do drama classes, and that was the direction I really wanted to go. And it was like acting or acting. Hey, I was a Russian gangster on a movie, mate. Right. So it was there was a direction to go, right? Either to sports coaching and science, or to the acting side of it in the same college here in Christchurch. And I chose the sports side, but all those skills, as you I'm sure you're aware, acting skills, customer service skills, coaching skills, everything, like the more you have and the more of a platform of all of them, just brings in such a beautiful like skill base to be able to help others. I mean, it's just all part of it because you are an entertainer. So I break it down to, in my coaching, to be able to entertain, educate, and inspire. They're my 3 key things to do on every sessions. So if I can tick those 3 boxes, I've done a good session. If one's too entertaining, I haven't really taught anyone anything, and they might just be like, what a space cadet. If I'm too inspiring, they get sick of you. If it's too educating, they get bored. So it's got to be a magical little combination of the 3A. So they're great skills to have, eh?
I 100% agree with you, bro. And I tell people this, like, when I look in hindsight now, when I look back at drama school, it wasn't an acting school. It was like a self-development school because they taught you how to communicate effectively to others. And most importantly, they taught you how to communicate to yourself. You've got to know who you are before you even start portraying a different character. Otherwise, what are you basing this new creation on? Yeah, and I love that, bro. Educate, inspire, entertain.
Mate, it's got me a long way. It's like assessing coaches or any content, anything like that. I just sort of think about, have I hit all 3? Like, and some of them will be more than others on different types of content, but it's just a real simple way, eh, bro, to see like, shit, okay, cool, I'm in line.
Love that. Awesome.
And rule number 4 for Cody is tops off.
Not yet, mate. Hey, bro, not these days.
Oh,
mate.
not yet. No. It's a few months away. We're a few weeks
away. Give me 5 more weeks, mate. I'm in preparation phase now, mate. Preparation phase.
Mate, Marwin, we do actually have some listeners coming out of the Philippines, and sort of blessed for the life that I've had the opportunity to live through the Les Mills, through the gym, and the great mixing pot, the diversity, the melting pot, and the events where people come from overseas. Got to meet some incredible people, and every interaction I've had with anybody from the Philippines, they are just incredible, warm, kind, nurturing, always bringing gifts as part of the cakes, sweet things.
Yeah.
So what do you remember much of that, given the experience was so long ago? Did parents continue to carry that with you? Is that part of your own personal philosophy, the upbringing from a very young age?
Yeah, so like I said before, I moved here when I was 5, so I don't really remember much. And then when we came to New Zealand, I was maybe I didn't grow up with any Filipino friends, really. Like the only Filipino friends I had, because he might listen to this, and he might be like, bro, you're forgetting about me. He left when he was 10 and he moved to Hamilton. And then from 10 years old until I moved out of Taupo, so a whole decade, I didn't have any Filipino friends whatsoever. So the people that I gravitated around that looked like me, and I found my sense of belonging, was around the Māori and the Pacific Islanders. So during that time of my life, I was actually incredibly ashamed to be Asian. I didn't want to be Asian because you're the only one there. Why would you want to be an outcast, right? You're a high school kid trying to find your way in the world. You're trying to find your friends. You don't want to be an outlier. You want to belong just like everyone else. You want friends. But throughout all that shame, I always had to come home to a Filipino family. So the values of respect, kindness, and all the things that you have said was always embedded in my DNA, whether I like that or not. So yeah, those were strong upheld values that my parents had always instilled in us, and I still have to this very day.
Yeah, nice. Isn't it amazing though that there's the one thing that makes us truly unique, and you're saying about, you're saying and ashamed at times of being Asian in those environments. The one thing that really makes us stand out, that we should be proud of, that we should embrace, we see as incredibly different, so as a negative rather than a positive. And that's with a lot of things in our life, bro. And we just block ourselves, that negative mindset that we're all trying to assist people to work through. And I truly believe, the great thing about this thing, as I said, these conversations, it brings us together. We bounce off each other. We find each other like we've found each other online, and why we're chatting now. I really truly believe that the universe will help you find a way. We just need to get out of our way. And if people are incredibly unhappy, feeling like they don't belong, there's a path for them. There's an opportunity to open up, and it starts. That's why we're saying the conversation, having a chat to someone you trust, someone you care about, and allowing you to work through those little limitations that we all have. So
I
it's
100% agree.
interesting to hear that, man.
Yeah. I do believe like your version of success and freedom is completely an inside job. Like a great example was for me in lockdown last year in 2020. And I always told myself, even though I went to acting school, I told myself that I was never creative. I'm not a creative person. You, Adam, tell me what to do and I can make something of it. But if you're telling me to create something out of my own head, I can't do it. I don't know how to do that. And I told myself that all my life. And it wasn't until lockdown happened that I was forced to be creative because the gyms had closed. And what am I going to do now? I can't, I wasn't producing any content at the time. There was no personal training happening. The gyms were closed. And because I had that time and space, I started producing heaps and heaps of content. So it kept my mind occupied. And also there were things that I enjoyed. And then in hindsight, now I was like, oh shit, I'm actually quite creative. I just told myself that I wasn't. And because I wasn't, I didn't produce anything. And it was then that like literally I felt like the floodgates had just opened. So yeah, I so resonate with those limiting beliefs that we're talking about here. And I'm sure there's a few more blind spots that I haven't had that I'm still working through. But once we do untie those shackles, that's where the real freedom is.
And having that mindset, we should all be the creator. We all have the capacity to be the creator, not just the follower, and that's what we do. That's what we do a lot. Mate, really interested in the content, because if we go way back to the stuff that you were producing online, there's a point where you said, "Hey, man, this is just not me. This is not real. This is not resonating," and you changed. Can you talk through that a little bit?
Yeah. So before the content that I was doing now, I was in this process, in this mindset of like, I have to put something out. And that was the seed of it. I had to put something out. I put pressure to put something out, which means I had to create something, whether it was authentic to me or not, as long as it got put out. So I started to think about, okay, what do people want to hear? Okay, maybe it's about abs, maybe it's about biceps, maybe it's about aesthetics, because that's what society and that's what the market is right now glorifying. So I started creating that type of content, and it wasn't fulfilling. I just felt the pressure that I had to do it. And then lockdown happened, and biceps, none of that at my house. So the next thing that I thought was, well, I'm still having conversations with my clients. I'm still talking to them. And even more so, I'm now talking to other people on Zoom as well. I'm just going to document everything. And I'm just documenting everything that I am going to do, just like what we're doing now. Yep. And it was through that I realized actually what fulfills me more is having these types of conversations, that the mindset, talking about emotional and mental fitness and how that correlates with physical fitness. Because during lockdown, physical fitness is completely out the door, right? The only thing we can really tend to is emotional, mental right now. So I documented everything, and that's how I found fulfillment in the type of content that I'm creating now. Because really, I wouldn't say I'm creating, I'm documenting.
Yeah.
Like blogging.
Working in. Hey, we're all working in.
I was just going to say, did you find that the lockdown, so when you went to that direction, obviously, of having all those conversations about the emotional side of it, the mental side of it, the getting through all these things, has that changed you now as a face-to-face coach as well, do you feel, or are you still the same as before?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It has truly, look, not taking away, like there was a lot of negative stuff that happened with COVID, and a lot of businesses and people's health had suffered, and a lot of people lost people as well. But for me, in my own experience, the lockdown was the best thing to happen, because it gave me the time and space to get away from all the stress and the busyness and actually figure out what I wanted to do. It gave me breathing room. And through that breathing room, I figured out what fulfilled me, and it helped transform my role as a coach and personal trainer with my job. So to help wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that's amazing, because you can't, in those situations, we all know you can't carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. And we just need to pack up what we have, process what we have, and then move that forward. And hopefully that impacts, and then we touch becomes a little lighter. But yeah, for me too, bro, I crave connection. And that's one thing. I've had 3 weeks off through having surgery, but getting in and being able to connect with people and seeing their faces, talking to them, seeing the response, seeing how I can affect them in a positive way, being able to chat, have those real chats face to face, looking someone in the eye, has been amazing. And it makes you realize the time away, what you really love, and a couple of things you can discard. And Cody and I have talked to that before, that a lot of the stuff we carry is not ours to carry. And to sit down and just to have that quiet place where we can start to process everything and go, you know what? All of these fears that I have are not mine. These were gifted to me or given to me, and I carry these. It's not my weight to carry. That's someone else's. I can leave that behind. The lesson is in there, but now I need to leave that behind and I need to move on and create my own path. So, yeah, moments, there's negatives in everything. But again, if we can focus on our own.
Our own I fully agree.
World within the world.
Yeah, it's fine. It's the trick is becoming aware of those fears that we've been carrying in our backpacks, and a lot of it is comes down to that conditioning that were given to us, as you say, when we were children, and we've been carrying it this whole time without us even knowing, because it's now become, we've held on it for so long that one energy, one mood, one quote, one telling off has turned into a personality trait.
Yeah, and we're not telling people to forget, because you've got to remember, you can forgiveness is empowering, forgiveness is important, it's energizing. There are things that we do need to forgive ourselves, mainly for a lot of the stuff that we've thought we've done that is wrong, but it's part of our journey. But also people, it's the 4 agreements Cody and I are massive on. It's a book that we both cherish. We keep it in our library, our own personal library, the 5th agreement. It's about having that power, those things that are incredibly important to you, recognizing the power that you have. But yeah, bro, I think for us all, there was many lessons, but the outcome is always invariably positive, because our outlook is positive, Positive outlook, generally look for a positive outcome, and life's going to throw curveballs at us. Life's going to get incredibly hard, but that's important. That's part of the journey. Like that little link I saw, that Instagram yesterday, and I'm thinking, yeah, bro, Cody's going to love this. Marwin's going to vibe on this. I think that resilience that we build up, those steps that we take that we don't give ourselves credit for, and we take that every day. We learn by doing and we grow by failing, and failure happens every day, every moment. Whether it's us when we walk out the door, whether it's someone else next to us, it's a process that we all need to adapt to and get good at. Take chances, Take chances.
Yeah.
And like in that, like you get experience with a lot of people. So they come to you and they're on a journey. They're looking for health. They're looking for fitness. Some of them are looking for that aesthetic. So what are some of the challenges, I think, when people come into you? Do you adopt or try and adopt the same positive mindset and slowly implement that into your training above the? So what are some of the objections I'm saying that you get day after day with your clients coming in? How do you start to help people and get them on the same type of journey or start their own journey?
Well, for the most part, a lot of people come to get help through personal training because they're in some sort of pain, right? They're not happy where they're currently at. So let's say someone comes and says, I want to lose 10 kgs. It's all good and dandy. Oh, that's the goal. And I'll ask them, okay, what is that, goal, or what represent, right? Why do we want it? And they'll say maybe it represents a person, it represents someone who's resilient, it represents someone who is consistent, and someone that they can back and trust. And it's through that process. Then I think for the most part, a lot of people lack that self-love, right? And I think through strength training, you're able to put them into certain positions. Let's say you lift today 50 kgs in your deadlift, the next day you lift 55 kgs, but a lot of people won't give themselves credit for that. And I think being able to highlight those small wins and show people that, hey, you lifting an extra 5 kgs today actually represents those type of identity traits that you told me in your consultation. Remember, you said what kg loss represented for you was someone who was confident, someone who was resilient, someone who you could back up. Like, do you think that you going from 50 kgs to 55 kgs deadlift, did that not take those type of identity traits for you to get there in the first place? And then it makes it less about the aesthetic or less about the number and just more about the process, because you don't have to wait until you're 10 kgs less resilient and be the type of person you want to back up. You can achieve that now. You can achieve that now with getting dressed to go to the gym, even though you didn't want to. You could achieve that now by sticking to your night routine and getting that 8 hours sleep you said you were going to get. So it's less about what's so far in the future and really focusing about what you can do right now and just giving yourself credit for those small things. Because I think life is so fast right now that people don't acknowledge that. So all I'm really doing is just highlighting those small things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect, bro. I mean, Cody and I talked about that before. It's what do we aspire to be? Where do we aspire to go? Walk a mile in those shoes, because it is adopting that same mindset. You know, it's being positive. It's the way that you feel. And then suddenly you're at that place, you're at that goal, you're at that benchmark. You've got all of those characteristics that you talked about. You've got someone who supports you and listens to you, and the accountability, because that's what we all lack. And it's breaking people out of that self-sabotage, because we're all we're all the masters at it. You know, we talk about tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand and across the globe. Sometimes it's better just to blend in rather than to stand out. So there's a lot of fear attributed to it. What do you think the impact of social media in terms of Instagram and all of the things that you used to think were important in terms of the physical aspects, how do you think that's affected people's mindsets and the way they are attracted to training?
Yeah, I think comparison is the thief of joy. And that has absolutely played a huge factor. But I'd also turn it and flip it around and saying that people need to also be accountable to how they use and view social media, because social media wasn't created to hurt your feelings. It wasn't created for that. It was created to help connect ideas and connect people from different side of the globe. That objectively, that's what it was really for. But people have now taken it in as what do you call it? The focus point of their sadness. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
So I mean, when none of us are here, the reality is the algorithm will never, you know, the algorithm will serve you in a negative way, right? That's what I search out. You type in abs, or you type in strength, or you type in beauty, it'll give you and continue to feed you picture upon picture upon picture.
100%. And if that makes you feel bad, then stop liking that and start liking mindset stuff. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you created that. You create your algorithm. You know, I think people need to start taking accountability for it.
And the best way they can do that is obviously search Marwin Silerio and look up that guy, because he's the boss. D.M.C podcast, look up those guys.
Absolutely.
And then that's a snowball.
Well, like we were saying, what you consume, what you listen to, what you watch, the people you hang around with, everything is who you become. So like, you've got to be careful with what you're feeding yourself. And that's the thing on YouTube we talk about. It becomes that echo chamber. Like, one thing you put out there, all of a sudden all the videos support what you're searching for. So it just keeps giving you more and more and more. 6-minute abs, you know, how to spot reduce stomach fat and expose 8-pack abs in 6 weeks, you know, that sort of shit. It's just piles upon piles of it. So you got to be careful what you're searching for.
Lots of machines.
100%. I think, audit where your attention is going.
Yeah, bro. Lots of ad machines under couches right now. gathering dust.
Oh, mate, you know, hey, so Marwin, I want to talk a bit more. So earlier you mentioned a bit about purpose, right? So we talked a bit about your purpose, which, so what is the main purpose behind what you're doing right now? Like, just to clarify that, and then I've got a bit of a follow-up question for you as well, in terms of like this high frequency club and everything you're doing right now.
Awesome. So what, intrinsically, I love self-development. I love everything about it. I love being curious. I love consuming information and applying information, and because I spend so much time doing it, I ask myself, well, bills have also got to be paid, right? Me just doing and applying isn't going to pay the bills. How can I pay the bills while I'm at it? How can I also fulfill all the other holistic things that come with life, as well as continue with my passion? So there's no better way than to create a platform where I can document and meet like-minded people like yourself, and we all pitch in to create what Rise will be like a content hub for health and self-development. The High Frequency Club is one little show that comes under that umbrella, and I hope to create more type of segments. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah. It's just more. And then, like, in terms of your own personal, like, what gets you out of bed in the morning? Is it that whole idea of building that thing to bring everyone together in that? Like, what gets you out of bed at 5 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning every day to do what you do?
I enjoy it, bro. I genuinely enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy having these types of conversations with my clients. I think with me, the relationship that I have with my clients is transactional. I give them knowledge and experience and practical tips on how to better their health. And also, I've been fortunate enough to have a clients who are extremely high performers. So they're leaders, entrepreneurs in their own fields. And because we have meaningful chats, I'm able to extract information from them and also use it into my own lifestyle. So every single day is different, and there's something always new to be able that I can work on, whether it's in my business or personal life. So that's what gets me out of bed. I genuinely just enjoy the things that I do.
So Marwin, we were talking a bit about purpose, obviously, and we've talked a bit. So when we're dealing with clients and everything, of course, we have our sort of overarching goal, right? The sort of, what are we doing? You know, that kind of outcome based, you know, what we're trying to, our objective here. We've got our purpose behind it. Now, I'm curious about what your process is now. So whether it's a day by day thing, a week by week thing, you know, everyone says, trust the process, or, you know, or they set these big, wonderful goals, and yet they wake up and have no idea what they're supposed to do to actually achieve that big goal. You know, what is the day by day, month by month, or whatever? What's your process for you to get to where you're going with your current, you know, missions that you're on, or even just to maintain homeostasis and keep you in the right position to perform at your best? Like, what are some things that you get into in that regard?
But I set some absolute non-negotiables, and my non-negotiables are sleep. 8 hours a night, absolutely. Even 7 is okay, but I know I'm not my best, and I am so addicted to feeling my best, and that comes to me from sleep. Sundays are also solo time days, so I try not to set any meetings with, like, my partner, for example. I try not to answer any emails. I don't open any of that. It's literally just for me to refill my cup, and that might look like going to the beach, might be reading a book, or might literally just be like watching Netflix and consuming someone else's story instead of thinking about my own and trying to look forward to the future or whatever. I've also blocked out my working, so I only have trained clients days a week now, compared to what used to be 6 and then 5. So I'll go Monday, Tuesday clients. Wednesday will be creative days. So that's for the podcast and any other edits that I want to clip. Clips I want to edit, sorry. And then Thursday, Friday, I'm back to clients. So I find that type of routine and process works for me. Yeah, those structural pillars of having that midweek clients, sleep 8 hours a night, and solo time. And then I will structure everything else around those.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And that's what we talk about with those schedule things there, where you get that objection from people, and they're like, "Fuck, mate, scheduling, oh God, that's just a trap. You know, I don't want people to have to schedule my day out. And it's like, mate, that's your opportunity to build, you know, your week, your dream week, like whatever you want, you take control of that and you can build it out so that you perform at your best and have the best things in your life scheduled often and things like that. So I like the way that you've structured your week. That's really cool.
Yeah, live to live, right? Not live to work.
Yeah.
Like work is just a component of living.
But I love what you said about, you know, just you love feeling great, right? And that's something we should all embrace.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, addicted to feeling great, and we should all be addicted to feeling great. But document it. How do you know how you got there? You know, so the scheduling and the documenting things, whether it's, oh man, you know, like we can knock apps all we want, but we can write stuff down. How much sleep did we get that night? Because, you know, if you don't get 8 hours, and maybe the people around you recognize that as well, it's like, oh, Marwin didn't get his 8 hours last night.
Yeah, you know, I'm a big fan of journaling as well. So like I'll have like slots of different life priorities, and I'll ask myself every single day, I'll be like, oh, how did friends make me happy or unhappy? Did money make me happy or unhappy? And then there'll be 10 of them. And at the end of the week, I'll ask myself, I'll round up all the tallies and see which one of those priorities made me the most happy and which ones made me the most unhappy. And that really gives me the decision to figure out what I need to work on more for the next week, what is happily maintained, and what is really working for me. So then I can intentionally take out of those sources and point my gun to where I need to go. So yeah, documentation is so important.
I love it, bro. That's like that whole yeah. Well, yeah, I was just going to say,
because you don't want to get addicted to that.
Yeah. Well, that's right too. And you don't want to, I was just going to say that whole, on that, back onto what you were doing, assessing your sort of weekend document. I was going to say that whole keep, stop, start. Have you heard of that sort of philosophy before? Like where you assess everything. It's like, keep doing this, stop doing that, and start doing this. Whether it's you know, with a company or your business or your weekly scheduling or what you're doing. But cool strategy, like for people to be sort of aware of their week in review, like, so you ask your clients at the end of the week to go through these different pointers and questions. But yeah, again, as you might be able to tell, I'm a very tactile kind of like a habit-based kind of guy. Like I'm a mission-focused person. So when I have my clients and my coaching is always about checklists and just keeping it real structured and smooth. Take away the emotion of most of it and just make sure you're hitting things. It's not working, let's change it. It works well, double down, etc. So I love this sort of whole process vibe. I'm deep into that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah. Find the source, right? Find the source of your positive energy and find the sources of your negative energy. And you can only find those sources through documentation. But once you've got them, man, it's so powerful because you can be so much more intentional with your actions because you know what works, what doesn't, what fills your cup, what doesn't.
Yeah, but I'm fully, I commit to, there's a couple of days a week that I commit to the discipline, and mainly it's in my professional life. So I know that if I can sit down and do those things, document and have a complete structure for a day and 2 days to do my administration. And the rest of it is going back to that thing for me. And if I do that, I know that the universe will look after me, that positive things will start to happen because I've taken these steps to make sure that everything I do from this moment forward has momentum. So I try not to block myself. And I know it's been a challenge of mine previously. You know, I've always been, hey man, just sit back, let the universe decide. So that's the contrast between Cody and myself. But mate, we're massive exponents of gratitude. So mate, take us through, like, you know, and I know, mate, you're probably exactly the same. But what's a couple of things that you're grateful for right here, right now?
Oh, great question. I am grateful for the universe to be able to just connect me with like-minded individuals like yourselves who I didn't even know of, like last week, right? But because of the energy that you guys put out, that I put out, it has connected us here now. I'm so grateful for that type of process. It gives me faith. I'm grateful for the ability to move my body. And I'm grateful for the ability to really knuckle down on the things that I enjoy and be able to make a living out of it.
Yeah.
That's right. I just wanted to say I love the whole, bringing everyone together vibe, and that's that whole, we talk about it heaps because this is something that's been a learning along the way for myself as well. And Adam, when we talk about it, the whole DMC sort of vibe around it, it's having that intention of being like eyes up, right? Like the whole eyes up, rise up. But if you've got your eyes open and you're aware and you've got that intention, it's amazing what comes your way, right? And that's what we're saying. We're putting out that vibe. You're putting out the words, you're putting out the content, and it just flows in, right? Whether it's people, DMing you with like giving you updates on what's happened in their life and the way you've influenced them and things. It's like, but your eyes are up, and that's great. Hey, there are people, like-minded people everywhere. But if we're shut into our own little world and hiding behind our little barriers, you don't find them. You won't find them. It'll be a lot harder to notice that sort of stuff. So that intention's so strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And just off the back of that, that's those two mindsets of abundance versus scarcity, right? If you're abundant and saying that there's limitless possibilities, as long as you're intentional and you move towards it, it will come. But if you're scarce and trying to hide and trying to compete, then you'll always have what you've always got. Yeah.
Freddie and I talk about the environment as well, and surrounding yourself with like-minded people, and this is part of that. And life's like a massive radio with so many different stations, so many different vibrations. And if you're not comfortable where you're at, if you don't feel as though you can be yourself or be free to talk, if you don't feel as though you need to hide in conversations, if you don't feel as though you can contribute, then it's okay, and we welcome it. And it takes bravery to actually stand up, step out, and change the frequency, change your environment. And this is the type of thing that happens, mate. You meet some incredible people who make you realize that you're not alone. You don't have to sit and think these thoughts by yourself. You can sit down, whether it's online, whether it's at a table, and have a conversation and find out that your mission is someone else's mission, and it should be our overall mission in life, to talk to communicate to as many people as we can to make this world a better place to live in, improve our quality of life, because we have one, man. This is it. I can't confirm that. I don't know that. I don't know what the next stage has for us based off experience, my current situation. But I'm going to max out every day, and maxing out every day means I'm going to make it a mission to communicate with as many people as I can, to talk to as many people as I can. If I see someone struggling, I will, of course, offer to reach out and help in any way that I can. And you can pick that up. Hey, do you notice that, bro? You can pick up the energy.
Absolutely.
Yep, definitely.
And you don't want to crash anybody's party by just, come here, give us a hug. Come on, let me out. Come in. It's like, steady. Approach with caution.
Yeah.
I love that. So good. Fuck, now I lost my train of thought on what I was going to say because you got me caught up so much, mate. So anyway, carry on.
Sorry, bro.
No.
I want to say one thing we do need to commend Cody on is his commitment to great hair.
Hey, mate.
And I think it's something we should all aspire to do also. And part of it is he does go into his barbers for a deep and meaningful chat. He loves a good chat. But
I love the barbers, mate. He's my man. It's my man.
Yeah. And if there are any, movie companies, any directors listening, needing a Russian gangster type,
there is your man.
He's your man. My Russian accent is very poor though, so don't count on me speaking Russian very well. There was my Russian friends did tell me that it was atrocious. So anyway, we'll get better at that. No speaking lines probably best.
Thank you for the support, dear Russian friends. Russian friends. Hey, bro. So Marwin, you went from the personal training, right? Your people, and then there's that transition to saying, yeah, do you know what? I feel comfortable in communicating this message and starting the high frequency club. And then there's the next layer again where it starts to gain momentum and more people are included. So can you talk to us about some of the people that have joined in to the high frequency club and also the next stage? And there's something very huge for you and your community happening. I'd love to hear more about that, mate.
Yeah, so for me, so my co-host Sinead Behrman, she was my physiotherapist actually, right? And we got talking during those types of sessions. She was trying to fix my injury. And there were conversations just like this. And I was like, man, wouldn't it be awesome if we just had a camera right in that corner that documented everything? Because these are the type of conversations that I want people to join in on, and also want to hear from other people. You know, let's really open this up. And that's how the High Frequency Club started. And that's exactly what's happened. A lot of people who we haven't really talked to, maybe we've seen in the gym, or we've brought in people that we've never ever met. But what we've done is just like what you guys have done, is just created the space and opened up the conversation to have these types of meaningful chats that I think a lot of people were thinking anyway. They just didn't know where to channel that energy.
Yeah.
So it's been super, super humbling to be able to provide even just a small space for that to happen. And then I asked myself, okay, the High Frequency Club is going real well, but what's next? How can I make more of an impact, right? Because it started with one-on-one personal training, then it started with the podcast, and I asked myself, okay, what's next? What would be even bigger? How could I even hold a bigger space for a conversation? Well, what about an event? What about pretty much a live podcast? Instead of having one guest, I'll have 5, and we'll all talk around a certain theme. For example, just mindset, the strength, the secret to strengthening your training and shaping your success. That's the title to the event. And I've got speakers in time management, self-leadership, movement, and nutrition. And really all it is it's nothing innovative at all. It's just an upscale of what we're already doing with the High Frequency Club, but live. So events are next, and then I want to create more content. And the best thing about Rise for me, is that I'm able to provide my friends who are so knowledgeable, like doctors, nutritionists, and physiotherapists, with a platform to speak for their voice to be on. Because they've got such good knowledge already. It's just, for whatever reason, they feel so locked into only sharing it with, I guess, the immediate peers or the immediate clients. But how about there's this platform now that you guys can all come, and I'll document the conversations that we have, or whatever you want to say, and we'll just put it on that platform. So it's just giving everyone the voice to say what's already on their mind that's going to resonate with a lot more people.
Beautiful.
Great platform, mate. Sorry, Adam. Sorry, bro. I was just going to say that that was someone like, for example, like Adam, and I've known Adam now for a couple of years, and whenever we met, similar to you and your physio, we're like, bro, we need to do a podcast so bad. And Adam's like, I've never really done one before. And I'm like, and it was the exact same thing. Every time you caught up, great conversations, chats on the phone, and we just did the same thing. Let's just start documenting these conversations and see what happens. And this is where we are today. And it's cool, because when you meet people that you know have value to add, it's cool to be able to say, shit, let's get it out there. Let's share that stuff and have these combos. It's a great platform, man.
100%, bro. And like the conversations that we were going to have anyway, right?
Yeah.
And listen, we may as well just open up the door and invite everyone else to come in, because isn't it amazing if someone else can walk away with the same amazing feeling that I get from you guys as well? You know, right? Like, let's invite everyone to have these types of conversations, because we can learn just as much from all these other people as well.
I had this conversation a lot, and people are the same. They're the same mindset, saying, oh, I feel as though I got something to say, I might say it. I think I should. Don't think, do it. Just do it. And if you want help getting online, Cody and I have just gone to Zoom. It is super easy. If you feel as though you have something to say and it can impact the world in a positive manner, then do it. And don't let anything stop you, because that's part of your personal mission, right? That's the universe telling you that this is what you're destined to do. If you have it, never be afraid to speak your mind, as long as it is positive and uplifting, with a view to be kind and caring towards others. And our mindset too, with looking after each other, because we're all part of the same community. And it's not like it's a limited pie and we're protecting a slice of it. There is pie for everyone. And if it comes to the last slice, that is yours, my friend, I will make another pie. We need to look after each other. We need to invest in each other. We need to promote each other. And that's part of that, because we love what you're doing. Like, the messages that you have online are amazing. And Pete, if you're listening, go over to Marwin's page, have a look, just go through it. And it's going to be, we flick through, we scroll through Marwin's page, have a look at the stuff that he's putting out there. like I say, he's a poet. He's a poet.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Nah,
but
true,
yeah, thank
true
you. I
words.
appreciate that. But you're right. If you found your gift, or you found something that you really, really enjoy, or at least you're really curious at, give it all away. Give it all away and just watch the universe unfold. Give your gift away, and life really, really opens up.
Man, and how good is it? Because, you know, you've got this thing coming up, and the energy around the expectation. You know, we talk about the dopamine that's involved in some of the habits that we have, and negative habits as well. But the dopamine effect and the feel-good factor and the fulfillment in knowing that you're going to do something that is going to make the difference in someone's lives. And as Cody said, when we first did it, you know, oh, don't worry about who's listening. It's not the focus. What matters is the content. What matters is what we are saying. And the rest will look after itself. And we've had some incredible messages, as I know you would have too, mate. People have just come out of nowhere when we least expect it and said, thank you. And that's it for me. And for those people, and obviously in our community, and for Marwin as well, those people that have reached out to us and been brave enough to say we have helped them, or that they need help, thank you. Because that's what we feel we are here to do. We love the opportunity. We treasure the opportunity to be able to have conversations like this. Man, I've been buzzing like ever since, because, you know, the little message back and forth, Marwin, and I'm like, shit, man, I just need to talk to this dude. We need him on the show. No doubt. And you're like, bro, I'm in.
Absolutely.
Isn't it great when you have those times, where you just want to push the record? Just exactly what you said, Marwin. It's like a conversation with someone and you're like, wow, this needs to be recorded. Like, because when the time is good, and it's like random times, it's like, fuck, this will be such good shit to share, You just want to share that stuff.
Absolutely. And even now for me, I sometimes carry my notebook, or I've got my phone notes ready to go, because sometimes I won't have the camera, right? And then someone will share something profound. I'll be like, oh man, I need to write that down. I need to think about that. I need to write that down, and I need to share that with people, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good items, Like, I look back on my phone, I've got audibles that I got in the habit of recording voice memos. And there's some of me when I lived in South Korea, and I'm running in the mountains and I'm panting like, I'm coming up with some content ideas, and I'm just talking it through as I'm running in these mountains, And I listen back to that and I'm like, wow, that's so good, it's a great habit. I need to do it more often, but when it's right, like we talked about, Riggers, because we do forget these great ideas. It's like, put it on paper, record it straight away. Don't lose it, because sometimes you never get it back at all.
For sure. And I think I know a lot of other, personal trainers and practitioners who just hold on to their ideas because they're scared of the judgment of it, And I'd say just put it down, let it go, just absolutely let it go. Because what's the worst that can happen? Your intention is right. Your intention is right. It's to help. Let it go.
So on that subject, are there any books that are personal favorites to yours? I mean, are you a reader? Is that something that you do? Week to week, month to month? Do you pick something up? Is there something that you picked up and continue to carry with you through your life?
Yeah. So the most profound book that has made an impact on me was the book Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay. Yeah. Another Glenn's favorite too. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Game changer. It really helped me empathize deeper and understand people. And at the time when I was reading it, it was with my family, because I always wondered, I was like, why does mom and dad do this? And I never saw it from their shoes or put myself into their boots, right? That's always been for me, that book.
And it's such a strange title, isn't it? It's such a strange title. It gives no real indication, because you think, is this book about manipulation? Is the title can be actually off-putting to the content.
Agree.
Don't judge a book by the cover, Marwin. Don't judge a book by the cover. Hey.
But once you get into the content itself, it's got nothing to do with people and everything to do with you.
Yeah, I know, right?
And the other one is Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Oh, yes.
Game changer.
So good. Yeah.
What a book. Book. Just so simple. What a book. That was a book that I've written so many notes on. I pretty much got half of it in my note. I borrowed it, and I was like, I need everything in this.
Yeah, there's certain books that you like might listen to, or like, because I'm big on audibles, but then you have a list of the ones where it's like, I've got to get that paperback. I need that physical book on hand, because there's ones you want to have the notes, and that's definitely one of them. Yeah, I agree. That book's, I refer that to all my clients, for anybody. It's a great book.
First book that Cody suggested that I read, and I gave him a number of objections why I can't read, why I don't read, and he swiped them away. Nah, move on. And that got me to a point where, you know, I am a book a week. I do audio books. I picked up my first paperback a couple of weeks ago and managed to, Code of the Extraordinary Mind, I managed to get through that. I just finished The Alchemist.
I heard good things. Haven't read it though.
Ooh, Lord. Yep, I had to listen to the end, because I don't think, you know, I hate to go back, and we talk about the benefit of, you know, if you're going through life, the challenge with audiobooks is you get on a roll, and sometimes you just kind of tune out rather than tune it in. So make sure you're mindful of you're absorbing the content, and if you're not, stop it. Or if you feel as though you missed something, you can go back and readdress it. But I had to go back, and again, I listened, and I heard things that I didn't hear before, and I'm like, holy shit, that's why it didn't make sense to me the first time round. Like, gong. So I've got books that are for me spiritually, and I've got books from a business perspective that I'm turning to at the moment. Rebel Ideas, that was one that Glenn suggested. And also The Infinite Game, Simon Sinek. So I'm kind of juggling books at the moment. So I'm like, my commitment is, okay, I'm about work, and I'm going to invest the time and probably more a business directed learning and fulfillment, and that's that. But when I get into my own time, when is that free time, when I get time to relax, it's more of the spiritual reading, because my mindset's completely different. And I tune in. So it's amazing how, by old mate Cody just suggesting and assisting me getting on a pathway of my learning. And again, we're about those little nuggets that we grab on the journey, those little things out of you're like, holy shit. And I might see things in that book that Cody hasn't seen, but because it's real, it's relevant to where we are in our lives, right? We kind of gloss over the things that don't seem to affect us, and all of a sudden that little hook, something catches, and you're like, shit, hang on. That's why I read the book. And that's why we have these conversations, those little hooks, those little nuggets that pop out, and we're like, oh, fuck, that's it. Sorry. We are back. Hey, so bro, we do a little, what's called a gravestone drill. And it sounds flipping morbid. It's like the cover of the book that you think, wow, that's not going to be cool at all. But if years from now, and I'm sure you will live a long, productive, healthy, happy life, my friend, and I wish nothing more for you and your loved ones. Years from now, as we stare into the great abyss and on your tombstone, or your epitaph, or the things that people will say about you, what would you like to be known for?
Marwin Silerio was someone who had fun, achieved everything he wanted, and he gave it all away.
Beautiful.
There you go. Done and dusted, mate.
Like, how deep is that, mate? And that's I mean, that's what I really like about you. And I got that straight away from you, mate. And just, you know, and I like that the energy is visible, and what you output is 100% authentically you. And that's what attracted us to this conversation and the necessity to have a conversation. And I think for everybody out there, if you have that inkling and there's someone that you want to talk to, that there's someone to reach out to, that you feel as though, you know, there's someone across the room that you think, man, they've got good energy, I might just chat to them. Fuck, go do it. Life's way too short. The one little nugget that you can get from that conversation, you know, energy attracts energy, and you're attracted to them for a reason. The laws of attraction, way beyond physical. Just to say hi, you know, just to sit down, have a conversation. That's the type of things we should aspire to do. And that's how we all grow. It's how we all get better.
Absolutely.
Bro, so I guess in terms of advice, so again, further down the track, if you were to have children, to have, younger siblings, potentially, not saying this has to happen, mate, I'm not putting that pressure on you. This is not me putting pressure on you, okay? But what do you think would be the advice that you would pass on to the ones that you love most in this world?
That's a really good question. I think the best way for me to answer that would be, what did young Marwin needed to hear?
Yeah.
And I would say the things that you enjoy doing may be different from everyone else's, and that's completely okay. And it doesn't, or because you're not judged the same way as everyone else's and your metrics of success look different, doesn't mean that you're broken or that there is something wrong with you. You just like different things. And it's okay to hold on to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick, man. I mean, our viewers were all perfect, eh? We find ways to object. We talked about it before. We find ways to run away from it and say that, we're imperfect, we're broken based on the stuff that we're bombarded with. But essentially what it comes down to is we're all perfect, individual, we're all unique. We all have something beautiful to offer. It's our energy, it's our heart, it's our soul, it's our spirit. And don't let the things around you influence that in a negative way. And if they do, it's okay to leave them behind. Because when you're at your best, 100%, everybody and everything around you will benefit. So be the best, be the best you can be.
100%.
Be the best you can be.
And it's a journey. It's a journey to find what your own metrics of success is, It is a journey. You just got to figure that, what that might look like for you.
Yeah.
And I think it just starts off by asking yourself what makes you feel good about yourself.
And I think it's important when you're young, to have those people around you can voice those things to, or to get sort of, because in your head can often be different to what you truly believe. And because obviously, again, it's other people's words and expectations of what they think you should become or do or be that can influence you so strongly, even if on this other side, you want to be a famous actor on Shortland Street, but instead people think you need to be an All Black. So you go in this position where you still want to get on Shortland Street, eh? So, it's really nice to have those people around you and those mentors, to be able to express and say and talk. And these days you have that with like what we're doing right now. You have social media, you have connection, you have YouTube videos. So like whatever you are into, there's someone else in the world that's into the exact same thing. No matter how small, big, mainstream, whatever it is, someone loves what you love. And it's so you can find people like you. It's a cool time to be around to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the greatest joys of social media, right? That you can reach someone who was on a completely different country and still resonate with them. You weren't able to do that, let's say 50, 100 years ago.
And you kind of, and you're living proof, bro, because, we talk about, we're advanced in our years on this planet, and you get to a point where these things start to come to you. But if we can impact people positively earlier in their journey and get to a time and a place where they can experience what we are starting to experience, then how good will the next 20, 30 years of their life be? How much more productive? We talk about, if you do have a dream, then follow it. People that love you the most will always understand it. And if it takes you to another place and another career, that's okay. But you got there by chasing your dream.
Yeah, for sure.
Life too short. See, I'm the universe. Let the universe decide, the spiritual one.
So Marwin, as we sort of come to the end here today, brother, we don't want to keep you all day. So again, we talked about what you've got going up. You've got the Rise event coming up. How can people find out more about it? How can they buy tickets to it? When is it? What's going on? Hit us.
So the most easiest way to buy tickets and find out more information is jump on my Instagram at Marwin Silerio. So that's MarwinSilerio. The ticket link is in my bio, and it has information of all the other speakers, what to expect tonight. It'll be held in Auckland on July 30th. And it's a fundraising event to help raise funds for Grow NZ, which is a mental health and self-development program. They've done so much work for people in personal development and their mental health, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdowns. And they've got their own physical space that actually needs work. They need a new roof. And in order to keep providing the space for people to build that type of community and keep these conversations going, they need money to keep that roof up. So it's all for a great cause.
Freaking love it.
Beautiful, bro. So team, if you are in Auckland, go check it out. Buy a ticket, get along. You won't regret a moment of it. Anytime you can spend with that guy right there, Marwin, is an investment in your future. Mate, I've just got to say thank you so much for your time. I have absolutely enjoyed immensely talking to you. Quite emotional, actually, to be honest, because this is exactly the conversation that we love. This is the spirit of what the Deep and Meaningful Chat is all about. And bro, you've nailed it. You always have a home with us. We just want to say we love what you're doing. We think it's incredibly special. You, my friend, are what's great about life. What's great about opportunity, and what's great about this country, the diversity, the ideas, to see you out there fulfilling your dream and making others happy in the service of others is just inspiring, mate. So continue to do what you do. Like I say, you are always welcome here. I'd love to sit down, bro. I'm going to look you up when I'm up in Auckland. We're going to sit down and touch cups and have a DMC face-to-face, bro. So, yeah, absolutely, mate.
I'd love to have you on the High Frequency Club as well. Bro, thank you so much.
Inspired. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it, my brother. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the DMC podcast. See you all next week. It's been a beautiful, beautiful episode. Take care, everybody. DMC soon. Peace.